Hello, everybody, and welcome to Minute to Skim It. We had some really crazy announcements today. I hope you guys are paying attention to the news cycle. We're teaming up with Prana and Gabe Yoakum to make sure you guys have even more awesome programming. So I hope you guys love that part. It has been a crazy week because you guys might not have noticed, kids are going back to school. So it's been weird. It's like I felt like Monday was busy-ish. Mm-hmm. And then today's been kind of quiet, which is what we normally see for Tuesdays. So we're never sure. Like, this is our second year in this spot, so we're not sure what that looks like. We were sure that today no one was coming in because everyone's like packing lunches, laying out the clothes for the kids. Even if you're in college, right? You still got to do all those things. It's important. Although college is another week or so off. Man, do you even have your family that's still schooling?
Yes, I have some younger cousins. They're not excited to start school again, but they're excited to see their friends, which I guess is fair. But yeah,
we're like, was it a big deal to you to like pick out your first days, like what you were gonna wear?
Yeah, just had it laid out and like the night before. Until high school, I was like, I'll just show up and whatever. I don't care.
That's right. Well, college is like that, especially when you're just like, I am wearing clothes and you should be thankful.
Yeah, like pajamas or sweats. It's like, I'm here.
My hair's up in a rag. What? Close enough. I used to eat breakfast, no lie, from the vending machine in my dorm. We just grab a honey bun or whatever. Oh, those were the days. For all of y'all getting ready to head out to school, we applaud you. We're very proud of you. Do the things.
To any teacher watching this, we tip our hats to y'all. Y'all have a good year, a safe year, and have as much fun as you can.
Oh yeah,
and try to stay sane for the rest of the school year.
Hope your kids know what they've got. Because any really wonderful teachers, like all my people that I look toward in my education, I'm like, I still remember the teachers' names. And this is 30 years out. So you've made an impact if your kids remember your name still. I remember my kindergarten teacher's name, Miss Moore. And I remember it because I thought it was Mower. Like, whatever. I was a kid. Yeah. I realized in hindsight that probably wasn't it. First day of school requires a drink. Is that, if you're going to school or if you were like sending your kids out the door? It's hard for moms. Like the first time you send your first kid out, you're just like thinking that they might not come back alive. Because it's like you sit at the front door waiting for them to get off the bus. And I remember those days. And then it gets easier, but that's hard first time. I feel for teachers. You were horrible. Jay, you were not. I don't believe such things. I was horrible in the way that I was like, ooh, 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 miss, miss. Every question, everyone. Those bring any memories to anyone? Person that just like had their heart up so much. Yeah, sorry. All right, we're gonna review a comic right now.
So Love Struck. So this was one that Jen, you've already read it, and you're like, you should read this one because it's really good, and it's a fun story. Basically, the premise is a woman who's like deeply cynical about love, and something happens where she's like, well, I don't want this, which in her defense, I don't blame her one bit, because like with how long they've been dating, I would also kind of, if I was in her position, I'd be like, nope, and just zip out of the situation in question. But in the process, she accidentally hits and runs over Cupid. And obviously this is going to have some issues down the line, because you need Cupid to help people fall in love and be like the ultimate matchmaker. And Cupid's like, hey, so since you hit me, with your car, you should help me out. Like, you should help me, like, help people fall in love and just make happy things happened and add a little joy to the world. And she agrees, you know, because obviously because she feels bad for hitting Cupid, but this was genuinely funnier than what I was expecting. I do like I like the protagonist. I am curious to see like what made her so like about love.
She's very jaded, yeah,
very jaded, very cynical, but not annoyingly so. It's very like, okay, like you get the sense that she's not like a bad person or anything. I think with the job that she has too, which I'm sure didn't help matters because she helps like catch cheaters in the act. So I'm sure that's kind of that's made her like the about love and relationships and just not really trusting of it. But I am very curious to see how her dynamic or the dynamic between her and Cupid, because this is it's quite the first issue. Like it really hits the ground running and it starts off with like a bang or vehicular mascot. Yeah, thud.
Thanks, Pablo. We really appreciate it. We couldn't have made it this far without y'all. Like sincerely, the last 4 to 5 years, it's been a lot of work, but if you guys make it full of joy, so totally worth it. We had this as an end. Well, it's not even really the end goal. Phase 1, like Marvel Phase 1. This is EXP Phase 1. By the way, this is hilarious because this is really Love Struck is the name of the book, but it looks like it's Love Struck X.
Like a love story.
Yep. Look strapped. Oh, so excited. Okay, so the last one we just reviewed was from AMP, which is that newer company that was formed by one of the former members of Red 5, or one of the publishers from Red 5, and from members of Scout, and very talented folks all. So you might have seen Never Wars as an offering at New York Comic Con quite a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4. But it didn't make it there anywhere past just like, I think, that initial offering as like an ash can. So the number 1 for this series came out in a very unique way. It was 3 single issues of number 1, an A, B, and C version of the book. It wasn't just the covers. So if you only got one of them, if you want to have the entire story, because there's 3 main characters that are part of this universe, and they come from 3 different corners of kind of imaginary places. There's Neverland, Wonderland, and Oz. And the way it introduced all those characters is put them in kind of a wartime setting. So World War, I think it was 1. Like Dorothy Gale is a nurse. And through the stories, those 3 different stories, because there's Peter, who's the Pan, right? But he doesn't go by that name. He doesn't know who he is. And the 3rd character is. And when last we saw them, they had all kind of like gotten caught up in a whirlwind, and then they appeared in this world. The thing is that everything there is different than the way you're used to it. There's things that have gone on that they were not privy to. I'll give you an example. So in this issue, number 2, you find out that Peter Pan is not the first of the Pans. I don't know if the first one was named Peter either, but that another character from his world was once the Pan and then became another one of these characters as part of just their natural progression. And it sounds like this is the design of it going forward. The expectation is that Pete's going to step into this role, and then then another Peter Pan's going to show up and be the Pan. So was his father frying pan? Stop it! I'm not really a multiverse. It just all exists kind of all together. Makes you want to watch Hook. And there's some other revelations in this issue from another corner of the like the Wonderland, Neverland, Oz universe. That'll also make you go like, wait, what? It's like very unique storytelling. I really love it. The art style is so pretty. And the covers, as you can tell, are really interesting. Like this is a peek into Oz here. As you see, there's flying monkeys. You get to see the lion. But there's something that's gone on in the time between we've been reading the original books or watching the movies or whatever, and what we're seeing happen now. There's some really big twists. So I really love this company and the people in it and the creative voices that they have. So if you have an extra couple of bucks and you're like, I want to try something, go find Never Wars #1 and then grab this #2. And if you can get to #2 and be like, okay, it's not my jam, then that's just the way. That's fine. It's totally fine. And like always, this is a weird thing to offer, but I know because that's just a review show, because I'm saying go and buy these books. If you buy them and you're like, it really isn't my jam, I will buy them from you because they are my jam, and I will find them other people that the jam is theirs. Checks in the mail.
Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck. So I think a lot of people my age, I watched DuckTales. So Woo! I was very curious about this one. Yeah, so this one kind of so this one is very interesting. So Uncle Scrooge wakes up and his entire fortune is gone. So Uncle Scrooge reacts like you would expect him to react, very angry and confused and agitated. And while this is all going on, there's a group called the connoisseurs who are desperately trying to get his wealth. So they are also very confused about hey, where did everything go? What's going on? So they start chasing after Uncle Scrooge, who gets this letter from himself in the future. It's like, hey, it'll all be explained later, and it's just like what's going on here. So now Uncle Scrooge is now there's a lot of timey-wimey shenanigans going on in this book. And while this is going on, there's some other stuff that's happening in the present. This one, I'll just be straight up, I wasn't expecting like a Uncle Scrooge, I guess, I don't want to say like this is like a sci-fi comic, but it's got some time travel, so would that be kind of sci-fi-ish?
Yes.
Okay.
We need to have like rules. What makes something sci-fi? Is it timey-wimey? Yes. Timey-wimey stuff. But yeah, this one, like, I kind of got the feeling this was like kind of like a pseudo follow-up to the one shot that came out last year. So if you read that one, I think you'll really enjoy this one as well. If you just like seeing ducks, this one's worth checking out too. But this one, like, it was a very fun issue. I don't know if I'll personally like keep going to see like how this ends up, but I'm glad that I read it. I'm glad that it exists. Just think that I think this is mainly for like the hardcore duck fans. All right, we're having like a big. We've got time today, so let's have this full discussion. The way I understand it is the Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the nephews to Donald. We have to figure out what Donald and Uncle Scrooge's relationship is. Someone knows. Uncle and nephew. Okay, so the grand nephews for the boys. Where's the mom? I don't know. Maybe they're just always being babysat by their very grumpy uncle. They do seem a lot to handle. Clearly, she's on a permanent break. Oh man. Okay. This one, it's been so long since I've read the first 2 series. So I cannot really remember what happens in those first 2 series for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I do know that they were well received. I remember, I think the first series of them had these really cool like covers that had just the helmets on the front. And those were really, really neat. This one, I don't know if it has any crazy variants, but the covers here look really dynamic. I've heard other retailers say they want to have more covers with action on them. I don't know if they're battling here because they're on the same side, I feel like, in this book. Lots of big time movement here, including there is what appears to be the death of a major character at the very end of this book. So if you're just kind of like on the fence about getting it, I don't know if this, when they do these kind of like crossover books, whether it actually applies to the main universe, if it's going to like go over into the main TMNT book. But if it does, it'll be real big. And otherwise, it's still pretty impactful. And it is, I like their interactions with each other. They're pretty well matched. It's one of those things like when they first did the very first of these, it was like, duh, of course. They're both kind of the same dynamics.
Groups of teenagers just fighting.
Yeah, like using their skill. They somehow all have the ability to do really awesome kung fu moves, even though I have no idea where they learned them from, other than the turtles have got, their master that's been teaching them. I don't know. Who taught the Power Rangers? Did they just know them? I don't know. Like the red and blue from Mold are mixed. Oh, they are mixed and matched. You are right. Oh, and they're all very color oriented, right? They have the colors that they're tied to them, although the turtles didn't used to be. All right, pop quiz. What color were the original turtles' masks? They all were the same.
Wasn't it red? Orange?
All right, we got to guess both red and orange from Shanice. What do you guys think? Someone here. No Green Ranger equals fail. Oh, don't worry. It's just not on the cover. You definitely have Green Ranger. Green Ranger factors in very largely to this book. Red. Oh. I know, right? Right? That's not a very unserious happening. Of course, who knows what you're looking at, right? They could put anything on a page and be like, oh no, that was not what you were seeing.
You're really good.
So yeah. Take Shanice's actual reaction for a I think Jay's right. I think it is red. I think if you look at the original action figures that they have been putting out, it was so crazy because the only way you can tell the turtles apart at all, I think their neck goes just from their weapons, because they look exactly the same. The original design for them, red masks. You get all the points, Jay.
Bring on the bad guys, Red Skull. So, this one, I think you would have been like losing your mind if you had read this one.
No, I read all the other ones. So
you should definitely read this one before tomorrow. So, so it was red. So it was red?
It was red.
Oh, cool. So, sorry.
You're right, I know. So, I guess originally they're all black. It was just black and white, so I guess they're black or white, but
so dropping on the bad guys, Red Skull. I will eventually get to this review or my discussion about this issue. So basically, at this point, Mephisto and his assistant, whose name I'm blanking on right now, they are trying to power up this weapon, but they need souls. So they have basically the villains that are the leads of these one shots gathering souls for him so he can have his big nasty weapon. So Red Skull, who's like the villain of villains. I think nobody likes him for obvious reasons, understandable reasons. And in this issue, but basically follows him trying to get someone's soul, and the way that he does it, it's genuinely pretty clever. And I am very curious about how, I guess, the aftermath of this series, if it's going to possibly lead to something else down the line, which I'm kind of hoping so, because it would be a shame for this to kind of be stuck in this mini series or this collection of various one shots. So I do think it's building up towards something, which would be really neat. And I'm not trying to be like sly or sneaky about saying that, but I am very curious about the end game. Or about the end game after this series is done. This one, but this one, I liked it, but I do think that the Slash music. Yeah, that's my nickname. Yeah, I think the Green Goblin one is still my favorite of these so far. I know I think we have one more, right? Was it?
I feel like it.
Yeah, so once it's all said and done, and I can go back and read every single one, so I know there are some that I am missing. But overall, this is a pretty interesting, like a miniseries. The Sheena. Oh my gosh. Sheena. I haven't heard that in a long time, or read that in a long time. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have on this issue.
Why don't you just like make it Sly Niece? Come on.
No.
It's just right there. It's just layup.
Sly Niece.
No, I don't like that either.
Okay. Like a chemical. That would give people powers.
So, mad props to Marvel. Like, even though probably not everyone on the planet is buying in and reading all of these cool little, things that they're doing right now, I think it's really cool that they're letting us be smart and giving us little bits at a time and letting us put it together, because there's other stuff there's other storylines that are like this in the universe that one of them's the one I'm going to review too, where I'm like, I can understand if you weren't reading all of them, you might be like, but if you are reading them, like you've been reading Bring All the Bad Guys, it's just like, this is just building and building and building on itself. And each story on its own, just standalone story, has been really great. But I'm like Shanice, I'm really interested to see how they're going to wrap it all up. Is it going to have any big implications to any of the heroes or villains? That is Mephisto going to get all powerful or whatever?
And to be fair, in this one, at the very end, like there is something is revealed where it's like, okay, very interesting twist, but I should say twist, but very interesting development happening here. So if this series does have one more issue, like, or one more one shot, I'm just curious about how like they'll wrap it up or leave it so that possibly something else happens after the fact. So this is, I haven't really been seeing a lot of people talk about this series, like, but like not as like in the negatives or in the super positives either. So I do wonder, like, if it comes out in trade, maybe it'll be even better because you have the full, I guess, effects instead of waiting like once once a month for these books.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
All right. I hadn't read Action Comics in a while, and so I kind of wanted to catch up with what the storyline has been like since it's the summer of Superman. I was wondering if, sometimes DC will have storylines that take place during the summer, as if they believe that all comic book people are taking the summer off and not reading anything. So sometimes it really hasn't happened since, like, what was it, Contagion, when you were like, this is just a throwaway story, if there was ever a throwaway story. But they haven't been doing that in the last couple of years. Matter of fact, they've been kind of ramping up their storylines, I think, to drive people not to leave comic books. If you're not going to school, probably have some more free time, it might be the time to actually have big storylines launch, because you got, beach time or whatever. Bring your comic book with you. Finally catch up with your reading order. So this one, I don't remember what happened to make this happen, but the Superman that is the Superman that's running around is the young Superman. It's no longer the John Dad version. Now he's still tied to the Kents and the farm, but this is the cool thing that's going on right now. So he he has this guy show up at the front door. He's standing there between Mom and Pa Kent, which in this version are much younger, and get asked, "Hey, we're here looking for Superboy. What are you doing at the Kent farm?" And instead of saying, "We don't know what you're talking about," John says, "Are you the government?" In hindsight, that's not what you say if you're not Superboy or know what's going on. So this one ends up being the big storyline is the guy who's at the door is actually not the government, unless I guess maybe this guy actually works for it. He ends up being a superhero from the past. Might as well ask for $50. Yeah. He's from superhero that has appeared in the past of DC, old enough that maybe none of you guys have ever read this character, so it might be something cool for you. But interesting because it does actually, he goes through a bunch of other heroes that have done their thing from other planets and why what they did ended up backfiring. So it gives them an example. Is like, this superhero from such and such a planet, they tried to defeat some psychic aliens, right? The problem is the psychic aliens were more powerful than him, so he basically took him over and used his power to destroy most of his planet. So I don't know why he's telling these stories to John, but he's trying to make an impact, and it does have a feeling of like there's a secondary plan going on. He hasn't just shown up to be like, here, I'll mentor you, or as a cautionary tale, you probably don't want to just go willy-nilly using your powers before you know what you're doing. So it's a kind of cool story development. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what's happened before this between Absolute Power and now, because remember in Absolute Power, everyone got their powers all got, you get this, you don't get anything. Wah! So I don't know if this is what happened because of that, but whatever's going on, it's kind of cool. Do you know what's going on? Do you remember what's going on in the universe to know why he's young and the kids are young?
Oh, I am currently not reading Superman or Action Comics right now. Nothing against those titles. I've heard that the books ongoing now have been really fun. It's just my book queue, my pull list, it's insane. And I talk to Jen about this I think almost every week at this point, that she sees me buy another omnibus or epic collection, she can give me mom face or just be like, "Steve, stop it." Because like he
literally every time she's like, "Don't let me buy another one."
It is
after this one,
and I might buy another one next week. So I am the problem. I keep listening to too many good ones.
Well, and the other thing is that we've had a customer that her, I believe, brother has a huge omnibus collection, and I did not realize that the giant batch she brought us the first time is not all of it even close. So there's more batches coming, so it will be even worse for Shanice. Apologize.
I just need the Annihilation Conquest, and I'll be done for August.
Okay, do it.
Don't encourage that. Oh, yay. Okay. So Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. So I am so, oh, I got my hoodie, sorry, y'all. I am so excited for everybody to read this issue. I have been excited since it's been announced because I love Ice Cream Man so much. So when the announcement hit that the creative team is they're going to be working on a DC title, Superman at that, I was just mind blown. I actually read this one not too long ago, prior to today, and I told Jen about it. It's like, hey, this is the one I think people are going to unintentionally sleep on, but when it comes out, they'll be like, oh, this is like awesome. And so Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, Superman finds out that there's more colors on the spectrum, like when it comes to kryptonite or to the stones or kryptonite stones. But the thing is, he doesn't know what they do exactly, so he recruits someone to help him basically do these experiments on Superman to see what these new shiny rocks will do. And in this one, I won't spoil about like what this piece of kryptonite does to Superman, but just knows like that it does something that like allows the artist to kind of play like with the medium a little bit.
Gives him a bad haircut. That's clearly what happens.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Gives him a bad haircut.
Who gave him that haircut?
The kryptonite did. But so I think the funny thing is like the person that he recruits to help him is immediately like, this is so stupid. Like, why would you don't know like this rock could like it could kill you like the green one can, or can make you really sick. So why are you why? Let's just do little samples at first. And Superman's like, no, let's just go all in. It's like, okay, fine, I guess. So this one,
and then Forever he had bad hair.
And Forever had bad hair. So this one is it's very funny, but it's has a pretty heartbreaking moment in this issue, and I'm not sure if this takes place in the main continuity. If this is like I guess since it is a DC Black Label, consider it like Elseworlds or this is its own separate thing. But yeah, no, this one I love what DC has been doing, like with some of these titles and some of these creative teams that they've announced. Like I've just been really digging like the miniseries like that they've been releasing with this one. Absolute Martian Manhunter, which I know it's a 12-issue series, would be awesome if it's an ongoing, but we'll see. Even like the Two-Face book that came out a couple months ago, I really liked. And with this one, I really do encourage people just to give it a shot. I know everyone is like has Superman on the mind for obvious reasons, but this one I genuinely loved, and it doesn't like Absolute Martian Manhunter, where I said like it doesn't feel like a main DC title. It feels like I won't go as far as to say like, oh, it feels like Vertigo, but it does feel like it's again like an indie book that would be out now. Like this would be like a Dark Horse or Boom title, but with superheroes, or with the DC characters.
And the trim size of this is normal comic trim size, right?
Not yes, it's normal, like just normal current size, which I am so happy about, because I understand like the magazine oversized format. People like are fans of it. I personally don't care for it because it's annoying to store like those books in my boxes, so they just kind of get tossed in a corner somewhere. But yeah, I've been really liking this one, and fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx it, but hopefully I'll have a nice release schedule. There won't be any delays. This is a miniseries. It's not an ongoing. This will have 4 issues because each issue follows like a different kryptonite color. But yeah, this was really enjoyable. I went into it with very high expectations concerning the creative team, and it just exceeded that and then some. I've read it twice already, so I really like it, and hopefully his haircut improves over the course of the story, or just gets even more unruly and just messy and
super bedhead.
It's super hard. So he gets the mullet again. And that's the end game. That's the last kryptonite. That's all it does.
The mullet. And also I saw Eddie, come on. Eddie, if you could just send me a direct message on Facebook, just DM me and just say hi, and I'll get you the information after the show. We do all our invoice stuff on Wednesdays, so you haven't missed anything. So, and I'll get you all the other information. His eyes, he's giving side eye too. The cover.
Yeah, I just think it's just how it's
super side.
Yeah, they're really blue. Like it's
blue. Sorry. Fantastic Four, number 2. Okay. I hope you guys read number 1. I'm gonna be a little bit spoilery. It's not a big deal if you don't know. It's fine. So Doom basically throws all of your main characters, because this is a one world under Doom title, even though it's a regular Fantastic Four numbering system. They actually have been thrown into different times to separate them from each other. Hypothetically, without each other, they can't get back to the present. It's interesting because everyone's thrown into the past except for Sue. She gets thrown far, far, far into the future. So what we find out in the first issue is that in the past, they have hidden in specific places, or actually they've hidden in a place this very specific object. They all know where it's supposed to be or how to find it. It's got a tracker on it. So, Reed's super smart and thought all that stuff through. The problem is we find out at the very end of the first issue that Sue thrown so far into the future that the tracker on it is no longer functioning for some reason. So she doesn't know how to find it. And without her finding it in the far future, nobody in the past beyond her is going to touch it, because they know if they pick it up or use it or whatever, that she will be forever stuck where she is. So she has to find it and come back through time and get all the rest of them. So I will tell you that the storyline moves forward, and it doesn't matter because Doom's got a plan B, C, and D, like he always does, to mess everything up all over again. Just when you think everything is worked out, or they've been super clever, or they've had another plan that really, really works, it's really smart storytelling, right? It allows you to feel smart, allows you to appreciate the intelligence of all of the characters here, because I know we forget all the time, and probably now you haven't forgotten because of the movie, but like everyone always kind of thinks of Johnny as kind of a dummy, but he's an astronaut too. He's just as smart as all the rest of these guys. He just is a punk, not dumb. So he also is smart enough to figure things out. Maybe not read smart, but all of them are super cool. So anyway, this one's a great follow-up to the last Fantastic Four series. We thought it was going to be really hard to follow behind that one. Was really well received. But this is a great start, especially tied to the Doom storyline, which I'm really digging. I'm excited to see how that all finishes out. Is the board part of the body?
No, that was a fair question.
That was a good question. I don't like that. Boxes size for slabs should be able to hold magazine size items. That's true, Nick. You can actually use those. You might just, yeah, they should be fine.
Like, I am curious about how like North's like once this run is done, like we're a whole stack with like other Fantastic Four runs in the past. It's like, hey, like you gotta read Burns, you have to read Hickman's, Wade's. So I wonder if he'll be like going up there too, because I've heard good things with the last run. So yeah, hopefully this will be a continuation of that. Let's see, Mercy Sparks, daddy issues. So this is one that I think if I had read it when I shouldn't have been reading it, but I think if I had read it when I was younger, when I was a teenager, like 16 or something, I would have been all over this. And I say that in a way like not to be like shady or mean about it, but I don't think this one was for me. I think if people are more familiar with this character, with this line of books, it might be for them. But I don't know. I think the main character, like I thought she was funny, but that's about it. Like I try to find something in everything, even if I didn't particularly care for the book, that I did like about it. I like the humor, but maybe the reason why this one kind of left me cold is that this is literally my first Mercy Sparks comic. Have you read
that would be hard.
Yeah, because it's kind of like
in here.
Yeah, so I guess we should have switched the books. Have you read this before?
I know a little bit more. Like I've read the last like single shot, so I know a little bit more than going in cold.
Okay, so maybe again, like maybe if I was more familiar like with the previous series or the single shots, I would have liked this a little bit more. But again, that hasn't stopped me necessarily in the cast for like Long Still in Silence or Mean Comment. I think if I did Long Still in Silence, I would be kicked off the experience. Like, hey, we're wasting airtime. Please say something. But I also don't want to leave a mean comment because what if it's like, hey, surprise signing should be at this store with this creative team? It's
you
like,
also need to have that like the ability to like, there's like that one. I can't remember what the thing is. It's like feels like a video meme where it's like looks at the camera and it goes close up.
The close up of shame. No, but yeah, it's but it. I don't know. I didn't particularly
got me to box here.
One. Yeah, you have me.
Sorry, we didn't do the quote right. You got me in a box here.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to really say about this. It just wasn't my jam, and not every book is going to hit for me. And unfortunately, I think this was one. I do adore like this cover and the other cover that we got in. So if you like very like crass humor, like comedy books with some demons and whatnot, this will be right up your alley. And normally that's my jam too, but this did not land for me, unfortunately.
I do believe this would be the favorite book this week of Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I think she might like this one.
Yeah. Noise. All right. We have been telling you all the way through that these giant size X-Men is one big story, and it's been really, really cool. So the premise is that Legion has been jumping through time to basically steal the energy of some of the MCU's biggest storylines, specifically the X storylines. So Days of Future Past, those kinds of big, Dark Phoenix, those kind of big moments. And as he's traveled through time, he's been messing things up. But also what has happened is he's accidentally pulled along Miss Marvel. And if Miss Marvel hadn't been pulled through with him, he would have been able to go through all of the things he wanted to, gained all the power that he wanted to have for his end game. And then no one would ever remember it, because since he's overwriting the history as he's going to do this, they don't remember. So this is the kind of like the full wrap up of that storyline, but you do get to see kind of like the end game of him gathering his powers, her stepping in the way. You might be able to guess from the covers, some friends show up in this regard. And what's really awesome about this is it kind of like wraps up that whole thing. You get to see the motivation or what's going on really behind the scenes for Legion, which is like a really kind of like sweet, heartbreaking moment. But then the storyline, like you feel like you're at the end of the storyline. You know, those like the MCU is good for movies like that, where it's like, we've wrapped up all the storyline. For the comic books, they've been doing this awesome thing where it's like you just turn the page past that, what looks like the last ad, and you're like, oh, it's still going. There's something going on here. So those last like 4, 5, 6 pages are really setting up whatever it's kind of the layup toward the next big story arc for Marvel, which is that Age of Resurrection or something. Revelation. Age of Revelation. I hate R names because I can remember what they are. R Shun. But it's really kind of like, oh no. I will just say, if you're talking about giant story arcs that have happened in Marvel from the beginning, think about one that recently might have happened that if it gets overwritten might be real bad. So I'll leave you with that.
Okay, so Space Ghost issue 1. This is a new number 1, but it does follow the Dynamite series. Like it does follow like the series that was previously going on for past year or such. This one, I will say, like it is new reader friendly. The book again very kindly is like, hey, so this is your first, a Space Ghost issue. Here's what happens in the previous ones. You won't be completely lost. But of course, this book does assume that you've watched the show or you have some sort of knowledge about Space Ghost, which I think everyone watching this and people really doing this right now.
It's still David Pepose.
Yeah, and David Pepose says like because he wrote Speed Racer, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's killing it.
Yeah, he is. Like, on these IPs, he's doing a wonderful job. And I have spoken to people like here at the store that they've really enjoyed Space Ghost. I think this is from Dynamite, one of the titles that has like the most people pulling it. So that's really saying something about it. But now onto the book. So basically, the kids, they are having a conversation with the relative who wants to work on their relationship and basically saying like, hey, you guys should live with me. And they're like, well, no, we're with him, with Space Ghost. And while this is happening, Space Ghost is facing someone, the toy maker, something like that. And basically the issue is there's some action, but it's also very dialogue heavy. Dope peddler.
Nick's just poking bears.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but with this one, it was a really good introduction issue, and again, like basically getting people like ready for like the next series of Space Ghost. I'm not quite sure as to why they're doing like a renumbering, because I feel like this could have been just a continuation of the first series, but who knows? I know every company does it. It doesn't make it any less annoying, but still.
I wonder if it's like because of the distributor, this will never be named again, it starts with a D, if they were worried that they weren't going to be able to get like to finish out that series, so they're like, we better get a new one started.
Right. Yeah, I get like it's a volume 2, but it's just like I don't know, it's not like it's like a risk of like legacy numbering or stuff like that, but I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, no, this was, again, like if you're reading Space Ghost, you will be pleasantly surprised, or you'll be very happy with what's going on. If you want to jump into Space Ghost now, this would be the perfect book to do it. It's been years since I watched a show, but every time I see the character, I just read it in Space Ghost Coast to Coast's voice.
I know,
so
right?
I just can't. I cannot.
It's impossible.
It really is so hard.
Who was the voice actor for that? I feel like it's someone famous. I should know. Does anyone know who's the voice actor for Space Ghost Coast to Coast? Well, it's the Old Dope Peddler by Tom Lehrer.
Oh, I thought that was a voice actor. I was like, oh, that's a long.
Okay. The Ultimates. This one actually gives you a new. I don't think they've introduced this character before. Not Shang-Chi, but Shang-Wi. Oh, please. I'll give you the actual names. They're just like making up words. As far as you know, that I'm correctly stating their name. And that origin story is pretty dope, I have to say. Shen Kui. Ha ha ha! My brain is working. I don't remember real people's names, but I can remember imaginary names. So anyway, Ultimates has been really good. This one's just a new character. Dennis Camp is killing it as always. I enjoyed it, even though I haven't read an Ultimates for 2 or 3 or 4 issues. I do know that they are kind of wrapping up the Ultimates storyline, so that makes me sad. But I know they've got plans going for it. It always gives me like a little bit of heart palpitations to be like, what's next? I hope it's just as good. But we have survived somehow. George Lowe did the Coast to Coast voice. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Predator kills the Marvel Universe. So,
talk amongst yourselves.
This one, yeah, Jen had thoughts when she saw the title of this book. And for people who are power scalers, this book will enrage you, will make you mad probably. So
Storm.
It's like the Godzilla thing. It's like, okay, I get it, but generally some of these characters should be able to like 1v1 Predator. It wouldn't even be like a fight. They're just going through it.
And Aliens.
Godzilla and Deadpool, and Aliens. So this one is a follow-up to Predator versus Spider-Man, and also like would recommend that you read the other Predator versus Marvel characters because it's all ties together. But again, like just read them because like this book really shouldn't work, but it somehow does. And but like if you haven't read those, you should, you'll be fine like with just this like first issue. And man, like it just hits the ground running. Like, oh look, it's one of my favorite teams. Oh no,
yeah, Bar-Lord, yeah,
you. So just like a sneeze or like a cough, like like a grunt, it'll be over with. But this book, it hits the ground running, and there's a team up in this book where you're just like, oh my god, this makes so much sense, but oh, this sucks for the people in the Marvel universe because good god. And it's just like, it genuinely is. If you were a fan of a certain team, you will be you will be so mad after like the first couple of issues. Just like, what? Didn't even get it like good.
I mean, I kind of understand like maybe a Predator versus Wolverine, just stabby versus stabby. That makes sense. But you have to call Boom Boom.
Yeah. So it's
equally matched against Dazzler.
Yeah, oh my gosh, watch Dazzler be the one that like but genuinely, like, if you are, and I had to like with the Godzilla book, I had really had to stop the whole like, okay, like the whole power scaling conversation in my head, but because you're just like, I know that they're like the ultimate hunters, ultimate killers, but like, I don't think they should be taking on blank redacted whatever. But it's just the crazy thing is like this issue, it hasn't even hit like Earth yet, so it's just like it is just it's insane, like how like it's just insane. Like the first couple of issues, it's just like, whoa, that okay. I'm happy to see them, I guess.
The same problem with anything like Batman versus Superman. It's like, really? It doesn't matter how good your toys are. If you get hit by a freight train called Superman, your insides are marshmallows. Just gonna call it out.
Because it's kind of like in the the New Frontier, right? Where all like the magic users, they got like zapped away because the writer even knew, because Darwin Cook knew, it's like, okay, someone's gonna ask like, how come Spectre or Dr. Fate couldn't like finish like deal with this threat? So he wrote in the books like, hey, we'll just zap all the powerful magic users and say, hey, the humans and other people, they have to deal with it. You guys just chill out.
That's right. You only need a rocker magic for soups, but Batman has neither usually. So somehow he managed to have his back not be destroyed by Superman. But, you know, some dude with a little bit of super juice. Sure.
Dark Knight Returns. Like,
yes, thank you. I love that you guys are bringing me all back. Like, back to the center. This is not angry. Just like, what?
The very persistent writers and editors are the most strongest people in the comic universe, apparently.
What's so funny is that it's funny enough to like, or easy enough to pick it apart when you haven't read it yet, but really and truly all that matters is that you enjoy it when you're reading it. It's like that suspension of disbelief. Superheroes don't actually exist, so we're already entering into that world of suspension anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, other than like people that actually go out there and risk their lives every day, those people are superheroes to me. But like teachers, we mentioned them before. All right, we stretched it out. I felt like we had it was kind of an interesting release week. There's a bunch of really good stuff, but it wasn't a lot of like number ones and not a lot of like easy jump in numbers. Like Ultimates 15 was as crazy as I got because it was like, okay, it's a newer universe, so people are okay with me starting in the middle somewhere. But do like support your local comic shop, please. Go and visit them. Drop $5. I know it's the beginning of school and you guys just spent all your money on school supplies or whatever, but don't go to Starbucks one day and just go hand some money to your local comic shop and buy a book. And try something new. Gotta say the timing of a show lead directly to the premiere of Alien Earth. Oh, I love the cover, like the thing they have, like it looks like a mountain. That one's really cool. Gotta wait to hear about Fractions Batman. Yeah, Shanice has already read it, so. And number 2 and number 3, correct?
Just the first 2 issues.
Okay. So we'll be able to tell you we have ordered the many number 2s, so we just trust us when we say that if it's a slow roll in the number 1, the number 2 will get you back to center. So you definitely should add it to your polls at your local comic shop. Use Comic Shop Locator as long as that thing is still alive. And if it doesn't come alive anymore, we'll get you guys all set up with a new way to find local comic shops near you using zip code. And barring all that, you can use the Googles because the Googles is pretty smart. Thank you guys for joining us every week. Thanks to Jay for being behind the scenes and making it all work. We're excited for what's coming up in comic books. We always feel like there's big story arcs that we're just waiting on bated breaths for those things to start, like Batman. We like the launch of Captain America. Fantastic Four is good.
Very excited about the new Nova book coming out. So it's like Nova fans, all 12 of us, we're eating pretty well. That's not a bad thing. It's just like, let's be real. Like, how many Nova fans have you met in person? Like, just like, oh, I love Nova. How many have you met?
Jay's gonna tell us.
So before we go, Shanice, I gotta know, Sam or Richard?
Richard because of Annihilation, but Sam because of the backstory behind the character. I mean, like, I love both, but Sam's like whole creation and why he exists in the first place is genuinely sweet, albeit very heartbreaking. But Richard has some just amazing scenes in the Annihilation storyline that made him like top 20 characters for me.
Trick question. They're both great.
They're both. That's right. Trick question. Corey Smith, who was the artist on the standalone series, came to the store long ago. This is pre-pandemic. Really nice guy. So that's the last time I can remember there being like a Nova focused book, which is, I don't know, it's gonna be 10 years now.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping this. I mean, because who's writing? Is it McKay writing it?
Ooh, if it's McKay, that's really good.
So like, I hope it does well enough that like Marvel's like, hey, people want more cosmic Marvel, which we do. Mm-hmm. Just give us a Nova book and yay.
Do let us know, like on social media. Put what you're excited about. We want to be excited about what you're excited about. Maybe it's not on our radar, so let us know. We're excited about that. And if you have like a review that you want to do, just turn on your phone and do a review. Just know it's got to be family friendly for us, and it has to be less than a minute. So kind of time yourself out. If you can get it to us, you can see John Castle do them. If you feel like you've got the skills to do non-spoilery reviews, let us know. All right, everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.